Welcome once again to Crick Buzz in Conversation, and someone I've wanted to talk to for a while because I'm fascinated by the way he plays his cricket. No game of cricket is ever finished till Glenn Maxwell is done with the game. And yet you see Glenn play and you get the feeling cricket's on the edge a little bit. The shots that he plays, the situations he conjures, leave fans on the edge of their seats. Glenn, would that be a fair way of introducing you? That there's a lot of players as accomplished as you who put bumps on the seats because people come to watch them.
Yeah.
You tend to put bumps on the edge.
Yeah, I certainly like to entertain and certainly play an aggressive brand of cricket. And I suppose it's come with being a middle order player for most of my career. And I suppose with the evolution of T20 cricket, I suppose for most of my career that you sort of have to adapt to that sort of aggressive type of style of play, and something I've probably been, I suppose, more around than probably the longer version of the game as well.
It's fascinating to understand the mindset of people like these, like you, because the traditional game is all about safety, protecting your wicket, and suddenly you're coming out here, the perception of risk is different, the 50-50 shot is on. What's in your mind when you're going out to bat in a T20 game? Are you saying, let's see how far the boundary is, if I can hit it into the next quarter? Or are you saying, let me figure out?
No, not. I suppose you've got to try and take out the thoughts of risk out of your mind, and you try and play the shots that are either the best for the fielder, best for the field, or the bowler that you're facing, and you're trying to weigh up the potential risk versus the reward. And for example, if you're facing a right arm off spinner as a right-handed batter, the percentages are a lot higher in my favour if I'm hitting with a spin over long on, compared to facing a left arm off spinner who's spinning the ball away from the bat. So you're always going through these different percentages in your mind and trying to adapt that to the certain field. And I suppose practicing the way I do and being an aggressive player, you make certain mistakes during the games, but you've just got to try and back yourself more often than not, just to I suppose go out there with a positive mindset, because most of the time when you come out to bat in my position in the team, the run rate's going high and you've got to keep up with a high run rate. So yeah, I suppose for me it's all about adapting and making sure that I'm staying ahead of the game.
There's obviously a lot more to you than someone who just comes and demolishes a cricket ball, but it's the persona, isn't it? That's why I suspect a lot of interviews start the way I have. Does it bug you sometimes that that's all that people want to know about your ability to go and clear the field? I'm sure there's more to your cricket than that.
No, it's fine. I suppose it's something that has been, I suppose, with me for most of my career, and probably had its adverse effects trying to play in the longer format. But in saying that, I've had a pretty good career, so I wouldn't change it for the world. And that's the thing. It makes it watchable. People love coming to watch it, and we only saw, I suppose, the 2014 IPL edition, and when myself and David Miller had a great tournament. Just the joy that it brought to the Kings 11 fans, it was something I'll never ever forget.
What's it about the UAE? I mean, you're a fantastic interviewer in that you wonderfully shifted the conversation to where you wanted to go, but I was going to come there anyway. What's it about the UAE? Your record in the UAE is something else.
Yeah, that was an extraordinary time.
Not just that, I mean, I've looked at the records, even other matches, 12 matches at 500 runs in 12 matches. Incredible things happen to you when you play there. And I'm going to ask you about a last over with 2 to get, but with the bat.
I think just with the UAE, the conditions always just seem to suit. It's the grounds are still quite big. There's lots of open space. There's not a whole lot of bounce. There's not a whole lot of spin either. It's just a nice place to play, and I've always felt really comfortable there. There's something about the ground that really suits my eye, and even facing bowlers out there, I just feel really comfortable. And when you find grounds around like that in the world, you can start to get a run on them, start to get a real feel for them, and it's where I had my debut series for Australia in 2012. And ever since then, I've sort of had a bit of a love affair with the country playing there, and yeah, hopefully it can extend to a few other countries as well. But I've certainly loved my time playing there. there's some extraordinary memories that I've got playing my cricket there.
You in the IPL, 2014 Kings 11 UAE, you were scoring runs for fun. They wanted to push the boundaries back from Dubai to Sharjah at one point, I think, when you were playing. But your IPL story started a year earlier, when you came in as this, dare I say, the $1 million baby at Mumbai Indians. And how was the feeling? Here I am getting $1 million, the world's looking at me, but I'm only playing 3 games. Did you get the feeling, hang on, I'm not delivering my worth? Or you said, no, thank you, I'll take the check?
Well, it actually started the year before that. I was at Delhi Daredevils as a replacement player for basically a bag of chips and a can of Coke. And it was an amazing experience to, I suppose, be a part of an IPL. And I suppose after the first 2 games, all the big players, all the big overseas players arrived, and from going from one of the 4 players being picked, one of the 4 overseas players being picked, I was suddenly about 8th or 9th or 10th overseas player on the roster, and watching Delhi go about their business. But it was an amazing experience. And then the following year, to have the massive contract with Mumbai Indians, it was really exciting. But there was a lot of added attention that I probably wasn't used to, and certainly changed the way I was probably perceived in India. And not being able to really show my worth throughout that tournament was probably a little bit frustrating at the time, but we won the tournament. We played so well, and it probably wasn't until later on in the year when we played the Champions League that I was actually able to show a bit of my worth. I played really well in 1 or 2 of the games, and felt like I sort of belonged at that level. So it obviously came the following year that I sort of had my breakout year, but I owe a lot to those first couple of years where it was sort of warmed me into the IPL and gave me an idea of what to expect.
Was it a bit of a tall poppy syndrome in Australia, saying, who's this fella who's earning $1 million? I mean, an Aussie earning $1 million for 6 weeks. Was it a bit of the tall poppy syndrome in Australia?